Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I've decided that I need a new peg bag. Being as my old one is starting to fall apart, I thought I'd try and make one. I'm going to keep it simple with straight lines and just using fabric, handle that I found and some ribbon. So it's all the sort of stuff that you can find about. So my old one's about 22 by 30 centimetres, so we want something similar to that. So I've cut out some rectangles. We've got a back and some parts for the front. The ribbon is to help us edge. Here we start to edge the fabric, and what I'm doing is I want it so that I can't see any of the raw edges when I finish. So if I sew it on the back here, you can see by the pattern that it's a printed pattern and you can't see it properly, so we know this is the back. I'll get that sewn on like that, and then I'm going to fold it over like this all the way round onto the right side, and if I stitch there won't be any raw edges visible. So here we go. I'm going to make sure that I stitch relatively close to the edge because I don't want it pinging up and showing everything that I've already sewn. I thought I'd pick something nice and bold and happy because laundry's never the greatest thing to be doing, is it? So let's have something nice and cheery to help us when we're pegging the stuff out. Okay, then the next part is I'm going to top stitch the top part just to flatten it out. It's not necessary, but it just makes it look that little bit better. We're not going for perfect here, we're going for functional, but I do want it to look reasonable. Okay, so this is the top rectangle, and you, if you want to do this, can decide on the ratios of your bag yourself. I just did what seemed pleasing to me. Again, we're overstitching now after turning it round, so we get rid of the raw edges, and then again just top stitching that edge so that it flattens out. It also makes it a bit easier in a while for stitching everything together. These are the side pieces, so I just want to double hem those like this, so again we don't get raw edges. Keeping it rectangles like this just makes it so much simpler, because all you've got to do is sew straight lines, and if you choose a pattern fabric it's a bit better. Okay, so in this one you'll notice we've got the backs together here, so what I'm trying to do is sew along the same line as the ribbon earlier so that we don't get to see it smudge, and then I'll do the other one as well, making sure that you've got your hemmed edges towards the inside because that's the bit where your hand's going to go in. Again, sticking to the lines that I'd already done the best you can. And then if we fold it up, we can now see that that raw edge disappears behind the ribbon, and I can just top stitch the little part that's going to create my opening. I can trim these threads later. Just going to try and get it done. Keeping things straight as well makes it a much quicker bag to make rather than having to contend with lots of turns. Because what we want is it done and operational. There we go, you see? No raw edges. Let's do the same to the other side. So you'll start to see the handhold forming here. So I've got the red ribbon along the bottom, pattern fabric at the sides, and the pattern fabric does help hide some of your little mistakes if you make any. So now we have to attach the bottom to the top, but again we want it so that we can get hidden raw edges, so we're going to use the same trick as earlier where we're going to sew along those side pieces both of them together. There you go, you can see the actual square where your hand's going to go in now. It's all nice and sewn up, and then again we just fold it over and top stitch, and the raw edge has magically disappeared. And I currently have some washing in the washing machine, so we need to get this made pronto so that I can go and hang everything out with the new bag. Okay, so that's the front complete. So now what you would normally do is put right sides together like this, sew round and be done. But I don't want to do that. I want to put them wrong sides together because I want to get rid of that raw edge inside. I don't want the pegs getting stuck to those little bits of fabric. But I also need to take into consideration the handle. Now this is just claimed off something else that I happened to get in a bag, so it was free, so you can use whatever you like. You can use coat hanger, so I'm using that. I do need to hem the top though, because I'm going to leave a hole where that hanger is going to go through, so I don't want that raw either. So again, we're just going to double hem it, fold it over twice and get it sewn, bearing in mind later we're going to need to leave a gap, but not now. So obviously I need both halves doing, making sure that we're just hemming the top. There we go, that's that done. So now we can start to assemble once we know where that handle needs to go through. So I'm just marking it with some tailor's chalk. You can do it with a pen, whatever you like. Just get it marked so that in a little bit I can sew round. Okay, so these are wrong sides together. I've started at the first mark. I'm going to work my way round. If I leave the needle in when I pivot, it means the stitching won't move. I won't lose and get a funny corner, so I'll get a nice sharp corner. Now I've just got to work all the way around, taking care over the ribbons because obviously that's our thickest point now. And at each corner making that pivot again and carrying on. Don't worry about any excess on the edges, we'll sort that in a minute. You might have noticed I'm kind of making this up as I'm going along, which I am. The whole point was to get a peg bag made with the materials that I'd got and try and make it with as few raw edges as possible. So I'm just working it out as I go. But obviously if you wanted to make one now, you could do that, or you could follow what I've done so far. And then we're going to finish up at the other mark that I made for the hanger to go through. Okay, there's the hole, and the hanger will fit through the gap. So I said don't worry about these extra bits, because what we need to do the next bit is just trim it all down. Now it needs to be around the 5mm mark, so 5mm or less, because that's how much you're going to have to stitch in a moment. So I need to turn it through so that we are right sides together. A bit fiddly, but stick with it and try and get your corners out as far as you can. So Now we've got it, we're going to go from our start point all the way around, making sure that when we get back to the top we don't close the hole for the hanger. I want to keep that. So again, we're starting, just making sure that we're doing this 5mm in, pivoting at the corners, and you can see those edges there that I'm trying to trap within what we're sewing. We don't want them to poke out because that will cause us a problem in a bit, which is why we trimmed it. Right, speed that up, it's a bit boring to watch all of it, but we did go all the way around and we did stop where the handle needs to go through. So we're very nearly there now. So we need to turn it the right side, and what we should have is no raw edges. So there's no raw edges on the inside, no raw edges on the outside. Here's the hanger going in. Now mine happens to have holes in, so I'm going to use that, and I'm going to just stitch them in place so it doesn't drop out. But you need to use, depending on what you've decided to hang it with, and make sure that it's secure enough or just hangs in place. There we go. So all I need to do now is just put the black hook in the hole, and then I'll be able to hang it on my washing line. Plenty of room for pegs and nowhere to snag them. And there we go, it's on the washing line with the pegs in, ready to use. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, it would really help me out.